We finally have our first real trailer for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where we return to the world of Westeros. We're not only going to get into what we saw in the trailer, but we're also going to talk a little bit about the appearance at New York Comic Con by not only the cast of the new TV series, but also George R.R. Martin himself. And we're going to get into what this might mean for the future of all things Westeros. Coming to you right now from the Sundowners Club. What's up, everybody? Thank you and welcome back. We have been off for a while. We hope you had a great summer leading into the fall. And as we gear up for a big 2026 around Westeros, we're going to have Night of the Seven Kingdoms premiering January 18th of 2026. So right after the holidays. And then we're going to follow that up with probably a late summer release of House of the Dragon Season 3. But first, I want to talk to my co-host, Sterling. And Sterling, the first thing we got a glimpse of was the poster. So before the event of New York Comic Con, we saw this poster that came out, and it's a beautiful poster, and we'll put that shot up on the screen. And the poster tells a tale from the very beginning, right? The visual of these two characters. And the poster says, a tall tale that became a legend. And so Duncan the Tall, you see the size of this character. Then you see this lovable little character, the Squire Egg, with the bald head. And one of the things that jumps out to you right away is he's wearing a rope belt to hold his sword, which no noble, no knight wears that. So that tells you right away that their attention to detail following George R. R. Martin's novellas that begin with the Hedge Knight. And the poster jumps out at you. So what are your thoughts around, seeing the poster before we got into the trailer? Do you not put too much into posters? What did you think about this one?
Well, to be fair, I saw the poster after I'd already saw the trailer.
You did?
So, yeah. So
it's just more the same feeling?
Yeah. I mean, if I hadn't seen the trailer and I was just looking at it, I mean, it's instantly something I'm into. It's that classic, this big knight's taking care of this kid, That's the vibe you get originally, but you've read the entire books, the whole story.
Yeah.
But I saw it after I saw the trailer, and the trailer is what really won me over. I thought it looked outstanding so far. There's not a single thing I could complain about.
So the poster, I saw that first, and that was consistent with the visuals that I would expect to see of Duncan the Tall and of Egg, and the sword in the middle of the shot of the poster. You could tell they put thought into this. And it captures what I think is the essence of where this story begins. And so then we get to the trailer. And as you mentioned, the trailer starts off with the beginning of the Hedge Knight, where you see Sir Duncan the Tall, or Duncan, and he's burying Sir Arlen of Pennytree, and that begins our tale. And, we got a shot before the trailer was released of Duncan the Tall with his horses, riding off towards the town. And, you don't know from looking at it if he's going to Ashford or where he's going. But, it's a beautiful shot that reminded me of Lord of the Rings. And the first thing that jumped out was people started commenting about, look at the color. Look at the bright color scheme compared to House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. When you started seeing the trailer and you watched the beginning of it as we see the introduction of Duncan before we meet Egg, did anything jump out at you about the color or the visuals of it, or did it seem similar to you to House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones?
I mean, it feels like a lot lighter tone to me.
Yeah.
I mean, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones felt pretty dark and grim, I think, for the most of the show, and continued to get darker. I mean, it had moments that were a little lighthearted, but for the most part, it was both the shows were pretty dark. This doesn't feel that way to me. I mean, it feels like it's a little more, I don't know if I would say positive or upbeat.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like they're in the Shire when Gandalf shows up in the Shire.
Well, this is filmed in Ireland, I think.
100%. The biggest thing that jumps out at me from this trailer is they're filming this series in Ireland, where they film Game of Thrones, but they film House of the Dragon in England. And returning to Ireland, where all these people worked extremely hard over a decade to bring us Game of Thrones, the settings, the locations, there's no better place to tell this story than Ireland. The people are professionals. They work hard. They love the material. They know the material, and you could see it in the actors. And as we get to Ashford and Duncan shows up and he meets Egg, did anything jump out at you about Egg right away? Like, do you kind of get a sense of the chemistry between Duncan and Egg as they first meet each other? Like, what was your thoughts around their interactions with each other in the scenes we saw in the trailer?
Well, I mean, I know, I know probably more about it than most people, just because you've kind of told me about it. So, knowing what I know, I think it looks like it's been perfectly cast, as far as
so far, perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, just like all the characters. I mean, just everything, even like the sets, the armor, like everything just looked incredible. That's when I looked at the trailer initially, like a lot of the things you see, like you're instantly turned off. You know, like I saw the new Witcher trailer and I was just rolling my eyes. It looked awful for various reasons, but
Yeah, don't get me started on The Witcher.
But you didn't get any of that here. I mean, it felt like an authentic universe. Like they were really trying to stick with the lore. I mean, I think they've had troubles with that in House of the Dragon. You know, they've
No
deviated
doubt
on things, but I feel like they're really sticking with authenticity.
You know,
and,
the first thing,
I appreciate that.
The first thing that jumped out is that George is very involved with this one, and he's on stage with Ira Parker, the showrunner, and Peter Claffey and young Egg, and so he's all in on this. And the first thing you notice is the flag, the Targaryen flag, has the two legs that George has been screaming about. And so little attention to details. And then when you see Dunk show up in Ashford and you see all the elements around him, to me it makes you feel like that's what it would be like if you were really there in a Middle Ages type world and you were showing up. The individuals spitting, and into a spittoon and people, cursing them out to get out of the way. And then you have the Targaryens show up, and that's the first thing that jumped out at me that I wasn't 100% sold on, but if the characters acted well and the writing's good, obviously, I'll be fine with it. But we saw Aerion Brightflame. He's the character that showed up that thought Duncan was a squire. And so he shows up and he's got short hair. And my expectation based on art that maybe we've seen when the novellas came out was that Aerion Brightflame had hair that was longer down past his chin. And at least to the chin.
For people who haven't read the books though, or
they don't care.
That, they won't care about that. But
it's like Jaime Lannister had short hair in Game of Thrones. Nobody cared. When a few seasons in, they cut his hair. And other characters had short hair. So yeah, I don't mind it.
They've deviated on other characters a lot more.
Yeah, I got used to it.
So.
And what's going to matter for Aerion Brightflame is his madness, his cruelty, his anger. If the actor plays that well, then we're good. I mean, because that's what he has to play. And then you see a couple other scenes that lead us up before the end where we have some sort of, I won't give anything away, but there's combat, and you start to see jousting, but then you actually see a fight in combat, which is really the pinnacle of the story in season 1. But what we do see is Lionel Baratheon, and the actor that plays Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm. My prediction is people are going to love Little Egg. They're going to love the kid. He's great. He's well written, and I think the actor is perfectly cast. Of course, they're going to love him. But mark my words, Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm. Daniel Ings is playing him. He played in The Gentleman. He played Theo James' brother, and he is a fantastic actor. And you see already in this trailer when Duncan asks him, how much of a chance do I have? And he laughs and says, you have no chance. And you see him wearing the horns, the antlers, and then you see the fog of what looks like a battle scene, or they're at Ashford, and he's got the helmet on with the long horns, the antlers, and it's perfect. And this guy is he's perfectly cast. And so I'm excited for the trailer. Of all the stuff that we've seen that's come out the last couple of years that we've been supremely disappointed in, where we see something and we're excited, and then whether it's some sort of political agenda that gets brought in, writers get hired and fired and they change and they don't know where to take a story and ends up falling off. there's very few things that I've watched in the last year or two that I've been excited about. This is one of them. And then I want to comment on the New York City Comic Con. So George R.R. Martin was there. There wasn't anything really super noteworthy, although he did mention that in the Mystery Night, which is the third novella of this story, he talks about telling that story from both the perspective of Dunk and Egg. That was new. That was something that came out of the panel. And then he also brought a couple people up on stage, and they were knighted, and kind of a little fun moment that George R. R. Martin had with them with a play sword. And one of them is a woman that wants to be called, after Sir Brienne, if it's good enough for Sir Brienne of Tarth. And he quips and says, she's not a knight, not yet, in the books. And so does that mean he's going to change up the story that we saw in Game of Thrones, the TV series? I don't think so. I think he was just saying it's coming.
I don't think so, because he's never going to finish it.
He's never going to finish it, yeah. My prediction is we will get Winds of Winter, but we will not get Dream of Spring. But so the trailer's out. What did you think? Did this get you excited? Do you feel like this is a return to form that will have fans of novels like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and the previous Game of Thrones books and TV series? Will this bring people back that want to see just pure storytelling with all the other crap and the agenda taken out of it and staying true to what these stories are? If you're excited about it, let us know. If you're not looking forward to it, what do you not like about it? Give us your thoughts either way. While you're doing that, make sure to hit the like button and share this video with your friends. And most importantly, hit subscribe so we can continue to grow this channel at the Sundowners Club and TCB.